Welcome, it's Bottle Kill TV. We're back again. It's been a while, but we are back again, back in your life once more. I'm your lovable host, Michael Roche, and as always, we have the often imitated, never duplicated, the real Bottle Killer, ladies and gentlemen.
How are we doing tonight?
How the hell are you?
Feeling pretty spectacular.
Oh, I like what you did there. Little pun. So yeah, we're back with a new review. And this one's hot off the press. Very rarely you get one that's hot off the press. This is hot off the press.
It's what we like, isn't it?
This could be spectacular.
Getting the fresh bottles in, getting them open, sharing them with the lovely viewers.
And so Ardbeg, who were a previous favourite of ours, we got a lot of time, a lot of love for Ardbeg. Treated us well. What's up?
I know what you're doing.
Got a lot of love for Ardbeg. Spectacular whiskies in the past. Some of my favourite bottle of all time was the Ardbeg Galileo. I loved it. I'm still partial to it. I had an Anoa the other day. Loved it. So there's so many whiskies that I've enjoyed from Ardbeg over the years. I've heard that we bought the new Ardbeg release Spectacular. We got a bottle each. It arrived at your doorstep on Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
And I heard there was a bit of a kerfuffle, a bit of beef, a little bit of buyer's remorse on this one. So just before, but we haven't tasted this whiskey. We haven't tried this whiskey. So this is just basic on what would you call it? It's not based on the taste. It's not based on the actual whiskey itself. It's just based on perception. What was your little disappointment when it arrived?
I'd say it's a feeling.
A feeling.
It's a feeling that like hits you kind of right there, because
right in the art.
In the art,
right in the art.
You know we've got a lot of love for Ardbeg, and I'm open-minded. Look, like I kept this one until Mike came round, so this is the first time that we're tasting it. So keeping an open mind, but I've got to share like my disappointment. So there's no secret that we've been Ardbeg fanboys in the past. And typically what you get is when Fèis Ìle comes up, you usually get the committee bottle, which will be like a cask strengther. And then they release like a limited edition one, which tends to be not as good. And, you know, we don't really like buy it. We usually like hold out, get the committee one. So I just assumed would be...
So the actually, go on. I know what you're going to say, yeah.
I just assumed it would be the same case for this year. I didn't really look. You know, I just kind of like dive right in now, buy the bottle because I'm going to want it anyway. It gets delivered, and I'm like, oh, man, this is like 46%. And then I read like subsequently that there's no committee release this year. So I'm kind of like thinking in my head, feeling a little bit duped, like... They're kind of maybe preying a little bit on the fact that people will buy Ardbeg anyway because it's Ardbeg and it got a big following. And then I'm kind of like, right, 110 quid for a 46% no age statement. And, you know, this is apparently the first time that they've done a port cask, which great for Ardbeg, but we saw a lot of port casks last year. White port, you know, a lot of other distilleries have done it. So even it feels like a little bit behind the curve in terms of like the cast. Like if it was something crazy, like no one has ever done before, I'd be like, fair enough, 46% no age statement, I can deal with that. But I'm just a little bit worried that it's not going to live up to expectations, and part of that is going to be influenced by the price and like the fact that it's not cask strength. But I'm open-minded. We're going to find out.
So will you be begging for more?
That's to be revealed. I think we certainly need to start, you know, getting into the whiskey.
Just to clear up, just to clear up one thing. I think you said it was £140. It was £110.
No, 110.
Yeah.
110, yeah.
So it was.
I'm sure I said 110.
So it was actually cheaper than a lot of the recent releases that they've done. Apart from. I thought this was a committee release because they released it. They send you the email, the Ardbeg committee has got a new release, but it's a bit. You could probably price it similar to barbecue, Bizarre Barbecue.
Yeah.
Which was £75.
75, yeah.
And so was your real beef with this? the committee releases that you're used to buying this time of year, they're usually like, and you're somebody who likes your cask strength whiskey, you like stronger whiskeys, and you like to be able to do what you want with them. You don't want them pre-watered down. Hardcore about 51, wasn't it? Bizarre Barbecue about 50.9. Heavy Vapors committee release was probably about 50 point something, right?
Yeah.
And then they do a standard version which is 46%.
Yeah.
This is 46% on the nose, which is the standard of the Ardbeg core range, right? Apart from of the 10-year-old is 46. Or is it stronger?
No, Ugadal's stronger.
Or
Ugadal's stronger. Corrie Vrecken's
totally
stronger.
different.
You know,
Pubs.
Yeah. So
what I don't want to do is I don't want to get on the narrative train on this.
No.
I just want to enjoy it and see what's cooking. See if it is as spectacular as the name would suggest.
And I don't think I missed that. I was kind of like in my own mind.
Oh, it smells Ardbeg straight away.
I mean, it smells like Ardbeg, doesn't it? Like, you know, it's Ardbeg straight away. I think like a whiskey should be judged on its own merits, and I understand that it's an expensive hobby, and you know we're all out looking for quality and value. Like when you find that kind of like, you know, perfect point where they just meet, like that's what you're looking for. Like Bunnahabhain 12, great example, because incredibly reasonably priced for a really good quality whiskey, and it's less than half the price of this, and it's an age statement, and it's bottled at similar ABV. So yeah, as we say, the nose is quintessentially Ardbeg, like unmistakable. It's got that tarry, smoky, creosote-y, peaty kind of character, but what I do get, and which I would imagine is coming from the port cask, is, I was going to say very fruity undercurrents. I actually think it smells like blackcurrant.
What is those sweets called? You know, they're like purple sweets.
Palmer violets.
Palmer violets, where you get them as a kid. You're like, why'd you buy me these? It's kind of got that because they get me the Swizzlers, get me the refreshers.
Yeah.
But it's kind of got that smell to it, hasn't it? So it's kind of evoked a childhood memory there.
Yeah, and it does have depth. So like again, I get that kind of fruity blackcurrant, like Ribena kind of.
Yeah,
but like you know like Ribena before you've put water in it, like when you just pour the cordial and it's so thick and so rich.
Wait, you put water in it?
In the Ribena. Yeah, aren't you supposed to?
Oh, just me then.
I think yeah, you'd be running around for hours if you just drank it straight.
But
sugar-free nowadays.
I only started drinking Ribena actually when they pre-mixed it. My mum never used to buy Ribena off the thing. We used to get like the ghetto Tesco value orange squash. That's how we rolled when we were kids.
Double concentrate.
No, way before it was in a big old freaking bottle, wasn't it, back in the day?
Bottles,
yeah, before double strength came in.
When you're kids, like they still only last about a week, don't they? It's like your mum buys this like 4-litre bottle of cordial and she's like, that's going to last. And a week later, she's like coming back with another one.
Yeah, we'd have like Coke on Christmas and a birthday and everything else was like orange cordial.
But yeah, I mean, aside from, you know, the classic kind of Ardbeg flavours, the smoke, you know, the peat and those kind of fruity notes, that the nose isn't really offering up much else to me right now.
Yeah, I'm not getting, apart from the what I've already said, I'm not getting too much. So I'm just gonna jump in. One thing that you are very, very big on last year was the white port cask, Glen Scotia, Campbelltown Festival release. So, is this white cask or just a standard cask? Port cask.
It doesn't say. specifically what kind of port cask it is, but I would imagine this is classic port, and then obviously like there's different types of port as well. So you've got like tawny port, ruby port. I don't profess to be an expert on, you know, how that affects the flavour of the various different ports. But there's not much information on it. I'd go out on a limb and say this is, you know, red port, what you'd associate with like classic port.
It's incredibly punchy.
It
as
is.
soon as you taste it, it tastes. I don't know if it's a roughness or a strongness to it, but it's no weakling. So if you've judged the ABV, it's not. You tell it. You can tell it's there.
Yeah, and look, straight away I've just had one sip, and I think one of the things that I typically find with whiskey that's bottled at a lower strength is sometimes it feels thin on the palate, and this definitely doesn't. I'll give it credit where it's due. It's rich, and it does still have the viscosity that you would expect of a cask strength whiskey. So points for that.
Yeah, I always describe it as if like my tongue is like, you know, it's like tongue in the roof of my mouth.
Coating.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. And again, trying to pick it out from there.
What's that? Kind of like white grapes there. So.
And one thing that I think I where some people disagree, but I really like is the packaging. Still, I like the themes. I like the fact that there's something different that you can pick out. It's not just a number, or it's not just a random name 2.0. They always go for there's a character to each one, you know, to each bottle, and I do like it. I'm a sucker for a good job on the packaging. So, you know, as a bottle sitting on your shelf, I think it looks good. It looks good.
They always look good. They do look good.
And they do a great job on that. And so, you know, for some people, they're like, you know, Ardbeg needs to get back to its roots, get back to whatever it is or whatever direction they've gone now. I say hell no. Keep that pot good. If you can marry that with great whiskey, then perfect.
Jackie with like a little top hat on and a cane, like roll up, pour up. Stealing my quotes.
Yeah, we're not going to get that Ardbeg lifetime membership from Ron now. Damn it. Still love you, Ron. Still love you, Ron. Jackie. Get like a licorice. Very heavy on the licorice and the leather, actually, isn't it?
Red leather. Red packaging, red leather.
Red leather.
But yeah, it is. It's rich, isn't it? It's got those leather, tobacco, licorice kind of vibes. Definitely spice, anise as well, but I guess that's kind of like akin to the licorice flavors.
Yeah, it's very rich like port as well, and I'm actually not a big port person in general.
No,
you know, I was on a cruise last November, and I had like the all you can drink package, you know, the premium one, and so I was drinking. I tried a 20-year-old port, I tried a 10-year-old port, and I didn't really get on with them in a way I thought I would. Because I've started to really like red wine, and I thought, well, they seem like they look similar. Maybe they are similar, but they're world apart for me in terms of my enjoyment of them. And I think I can definitely get the richness of the port.
Yeah,
in the flavor.
It definitely, you know, on the palate, it certainly adds fruitiness and sweetness to it. It's interesting, and you know, the more that I've tried it, the more I'm appreciating it. And I mean, as you know from the beginning, I was like almost wanting not to like it, but I do like it.
Well, it's incredibly unique.
It is. It's got a great kind of balance between almost like, as I say, your classic Ardbeg smoke, really nice, rich, sweet kind of blackcurranty fruits, and also those more, I don't know, what would you call them, like herbal kind of.
You're very herbal.
Yeah. The anise, the licorice, the leather, the tobacco. I don't know like what category you put like leather and tobacco in, but maybe they come in like the woody kind of notes under, you know, the whiskey wheel. but there's layers to it, layers of flavour, rich, good viscosity, coating. Yeah, I mean,
I would say it comes in rich and sweet, and then all I'm getting on the aftertaste is it's very long finish, and that's when you get all the licorice. That's when you get the herbal. That's when you get the anisey.
yeah, like the back end. I'm just going to put a couple of drops in, just to see if it just unlocks anything different there. Which again is something that I wouldn't normally do with a 46% whiskey, but I think with this one it's just interesting, certainly first time of trying to see if it does change it. Or
It does have a lot of complexity, and so it's to have the water to give it a chance to see what it's saying and see it open it up.
Certainly softer.
It's a different nose on that now.
Yeah.
Totally different nose has changed with 4 drops of water.
Just literally a couple of drops. Far less of the smoke and a lot more of the fruit coming through. And I think the fruit is softer.
This is really interesting because the only Ardbeg I would compare this to, and it's nothing like it, is the first Smoke Trails. There's no other Ardbeg I would say is close in terms of taste to it. So in that's innovation. That's great.
I see what you're saying. It's it's one of those where it's immediately recognizable as Ardbeg. But what Ardbeg would you compare it to? No, is
well,
it's not like the 10.
We've got them all back there.
Yeah.
It's not even any of the special releases.
No.
And it's totally different.
No, because we thought Bizarre BQ was kind of similar to Oogie, I think, from recollection. But yeah, this is very different. It's a lot more of a fruity kind of Ardbeg, but dark fruits, as you would expect with the port.
And you know what I think this is actually, and I know I said that I don't like port, the drink itself, but I do like the more wine based casks, and I think that this is a lovely drink. This is a lovely dram.
Do you know what's funny? I don't know if this classic power of suggestion, and I didn't get this at first, but with the water, I swear I'm getting candy floss on the nose. And I'm like, is that just because I associate it with the circus and the spectacular?
I'm getting top hats. I'm getting acrobatics.
Canes, clowns.
I'm getting Cirque du Soleil.
It's a red nose.
I'm getting big tops.
Classic.
But no, I think this is wonderful. Actually, I'm a huge fan, and I didn't really have the beef with the ABV because I'm not. I just too many times where I've had a cask strength whiskey which I haven't added water to.
Yeah.
And I can drink it, and then there's other the percentages are so misleading in a way.
Do you know what I'm finding as well is I prefer it without the water. I think it's a completely different whiskey with water, and it's not that it's just it opens it up a bit, it makes it a bit more rounded. It transforms into a completely different whiskey. It's so much sweeter. Actually, it does lose its edge a little bit.
But it's got a smoothness to it.
Yeah.
So if you like the smoothness to it, because I actually like it with the water because it actually brought the smoothness out of it. When I at first it was quite rough. It was quite strong. That little drop of water, it really just takes it down to this really smoothness on the bottom of the mouth as opposed to the top of the mouth. It was always on the top of the mouth smooth, but then the bottom of the mouth. But yeah, maybe it was kind of the lion tamer where he puts his cape up, pulls it down, and it totally changes into a beautiful woman. I don't know, but it's but yeah, it's spectacular. It's who knows? It's the carnival.
Strangely, I do. I like it both with and without water. Like I could drink it either way.
Try again with the straight up, and let's see.
More kind of sweeter. Smoke takes a back seat and then kind of reappears in the finish when it's got the water in it, and it does lose some of those kind of more dominating anise, licorice kind of notes.
I think it's just when you first pour it out of the bottle, it has that roughness, but it needs a little bit of time in the glass, and that's what's brought out the smoothness to it. Because I've just had that again, and it's kind of weird because it's like a reset.
Yeah.
Of where I was 20 minutes ago. And it's very liquid, like you said, it's very licorice heavy, isn't it? On the without the water, the licorice heavy. I would actually have it with water.
Yeah,
I think that's the way I'd enjoy it the most. But this is almost like it's almost like as soon as you smell it, the first hit you get is Ardbeg, but then it's not Ardbeg. It's innovation. I'm enjoying it. I think this is a if you want experimentation, because you can always buy the core range if you don't want experimentation, right? Like you've got your go-tos if you don't want the experimentation. But if you do want them to have a little experiment, have a little play, then this is great.
I mean, I wouldn't say like I wanted to be disappointed. I'm definitely not. But I'm trying to think, because a lot of people will have probably tried, previous committee releases and maybe had similar thoughts to I had. How does this stack up to like recent ones? Like the Hypernova, we like Dynamorphic. Yeah, very good. I know Heavy Vapors you were a big fan of. I was probably less. So I'd rate. I'd rate it higher than Heavy Vapors for sure.
My favorite recent one was the Hypernova though. That was one where we were drinking it one night and you didn't tell me. You just poured it and gave it to me. And I was like, this is fantastic. What is this? And I was really into it. So the Hypernova is probably the highlight of the releases. One I can't remember, which I'd love to try again. I do have a bottle, but it's unopened as usual. The Bizarre-barbecue.
Yeah.
Which everyone seemed to really enjoy. The Bizarre-barbecue, but I didn't know if the people enjoyed the pricing of it more than they enjoyed the...
Yeah, true. Just to get
because it was like it sneaked up on
limited edition Ardbeg for like 75 quid, and all of a sudden it's good again.
It seemed like a good deal,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Which I think is fair. Like you said, you want quality and you want value, and it's always playing off the two. As a whiskey collector or as a whiskey drinker, we're always trying to play off the two, which is why independent bottlers do so well.
Yeah,
is because they sometimes, if they say it's called Red Bag instead of Ardbeg Red Leather, then they can, you can get something that's a lot cheaper. Like the Old Particular that we had an Old Particular 15-year-old Ardbeg, which wasn't officially, it was a 15-year-old Isla.
Yeah.
But they hinted enough that you knew it was an Ardbeg, and it was wonderful.
Brilliant.
And it was
So
95
good.
and it was £95. So it is always that fight. But if you have the passion to want to try innovation even at £110, I think it's a wonderful little release. This.
My personal
I'm high on it.
My personal view is as well. Like I said, like I want to judge the whiskey on its own merits and try and give people as honest a review as we can on Bottle Kill TV. And I kind of get annoyed when a whiskey gets a lower score on a review site, for example, and you're thinking like, and I get it, like price does play a big part for a lot of people, but it's not affecting the quality of the whiskey. So you should still give the whiskey the score that you think the whiskey is, and maybe just a subnote like, I think it's a bit expensive. I don't think you should mark it down because it's too expensive. And so what my conclusion is here with the Spectacular is, would people see it as value for money? Probably not. Do I think it's a very good whiskey? And one that you would be impressed with trying? My personal opinion is yes. I'm sure a lot of people are trying it as this is going out. Hit me in the comments. Let us know. Give us your thoughts. If you disagree, let us know. If you agree, give us a big thumbs up. Hit that like button. But we'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, just because of I think it's going to become more in vogue at the moment is going to be the port cask, the wine casks. Obviously, Jay said last year was the kind of the year of the port cask was last year, right? And we said Ardbeg were a little behind the times. But what I do know is we had the Banyuls, Deanston, which I loved. We had a wine cask at Glengarry, which I loved.
Yeah.
We're going to review this next. We're gonna turn off the camera, start a new episode, and we're going to do the Smoke Trails version 2. Smoke Trails version 1 was probably the only Ardbeg I've ever had, which I didn't like.
Most disappointing Ardbeg I can remember trying.
And it's we got a litre of it, so
I've still got this is if the real bottle killer had a litre of whiskey and there's still more than 70 cl left, and I've had it for about 18 months, it's not a good whiskey.
Well, I've probably got about 30% left of the bottle.
Yeah, you've done better than me.
My bottle, and because I every time when I warm up my palate, and I say I have like a Nougadal, or if I have a 10-year-old, I'm like, I must be ready for it now. I'll go grab it, and I try and like it. I just for some reason I just can't get on board with it. But what I do think is, just going back to my original point, I think the wine casks are going to be a big thing this year, and I love it. I love them. What this doesn't have, which is I don't know the difference. I don't really know much about port anyway, but it doesn't really have any dryness.
It's the tannins
that the wine casks have, do they?
You get a lot more dryness and tannins, and it probably depends on what kind of wine cask they've used. But for me personally, I'm not as big a fan of the wine cask because I don't find that as enjoyable. I do prefer the sweetness, yes, some of the spice of a bourbon cask, and when you get a nice long smoky finish, but the dryness when it's cloying and your mouth, it's not for me.
I get enjoyment out of that.
No, it's not for me. But I think we go look, wrap this one up. We'll ask the question, and then we're gonna shut the camera down. We'll start a new episode, and we're gonna look at another Ardbeg on the next episode. So hit the subscribe button, come back for more if you enjoyed the Spectacular today. But why don't we go to the question, my friend?
Yeah, so Ardbeg Spectacular. Is it spectacular? Is it a buy?
I admittedly said off camera, I think this could be one of the first times that we're saying that a whiskey that we've reviewed is not a buy. And I didn't not want to like it, but I do. And for me, it is a buy. Very enjoyable whiskey, lots of complexity, and just an incredible depth. I think the quality of it is symbolized by just how different it is without water, with water. Mm-hmm. But both, whilst unique, both very enjoyable whiskies. I drink this. Sometimes I'll drink it without, sometimes I'll drink it with water. So Ardbeg, you've done it again. It's a buy.
Did it leave you Ardbegging for more?
You did that one.
Just got to close the loop. Close the loop, baby.
We'll see. I don't think I'll be buying another bottle. I had a few collectibles stashed away, but yeah, I don't think there's and if you do, you'll probably get it in 6 months' time for less than the price. So
interesting. Well, that was kind of we kind of got the real answer then with the Ardbegging question. But what I personally think, if you were on the fence about should we get this Ardbeg release,
wait. It'll come down in price because there'll be so many of it. I guarantee you will find this for less than 110 quid in probably 2 months' time, if not.
What, maybe Harvey Nichols have a sale or something?
4 or 5 months, you get that for less than 110.
But I think if you're on the fence, I'd give it a go. I think it's actually it's a really interesting innovation from Ardbeg. I think it's a release which is they're doing something different, and especially if you've got a little bit of a hankering for a porn cask. The hankering took my brain to a different place. Freudian slip.
Cut the camera.
If you got a hankering for a port cask, and you want a totally different Ardbeg experience, I think this delivers it. So I think it's definitely I'd put it in a buy. I think that being said, if we're going to do the Smoke Trials 2 release next, we're going to release them at the same time, so you'll be able to go straight on it. I want more likes and comments. We don't have any in our videos right now, apart from the old family friend putting a heart. Still keep putting the hearts, but give us what do you think? What do you think of the whole Ardbeg where it's at? That'd be interesting. Maybe an interesting conversation as well. Apart from that, let's wrap that up. And as always, Bottle Killer, take them out.
Well, thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good time. I've had a good time. Michael, have you had a good time?
It's spectacular time.
I think it has been pretty spectacular. And we'll see you next time on Bottle Kill TV. Thanks for joining.